guys, this is Christy Fulk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Well, today I've got some projects for the One Stamp at a Time blog hop for July. This month we are doing, the theme is Mix It Up. We're mixing up patterns and putting a bunch of layers together on a card. So what I mixed up with mine, I've got some lined designs here. These have little dots. Floral images. So those are different patterns that I mixed up. And as you can see, I used a lot of layers. And I'm using the Timeless Arrangements bundle, which is perfect for a bunch of layers. And you're going to see how these dies work. They're pretty cool. This looks like a bunch of little bitty things I'm having to die cut, and it really isn't. So I'll show you that here in just a minute. So if you'd like to make this with me, and I'm also making, I almost forgot about this. This is the a little tag candy holder. I don't have a piece of candy in here right now, but like one of those Ghirardelli squares should fit in there. It's a really quick and easy thing that you can make. And I used our elegant tag topper for this. I think that's what it's called. So if you want to make these along with me, just click on that blog post link below in the video description. And then when you're there, you'll get the supply list for both of the projects. And you'll also get the dimensions for the paper and everything. So you can get all that stuff together and come back and make them with me. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first off, I want to show you the bundle that I'm using. This is a new one from the annual catalog called Timeless Arrangements. I guess it's not brand new, but it's still relatively new. And I just love these dies. And see what I mean when I say you don't have to do a bunch of die cutting for all those little things, because this is all one die. It makes it so much easier, and you'll see how they work here in just a minute. So what you're going to need for the stamps, you're going to need these 3 images here. And I'm also using the You Make Me Smile. That's what I'm using for the card. And then for the dies for the card, I need these dies right here. And I need this one. And I need all 4 of these small ones. And I also need these 3. These will die cut the stamped images I'm going to do here in just a minute. Oh, and one more die. I'm going to be using this one right here for my thank you. So we're using almost all of the dies on this card. And I'm also using the Radiating Stitches Dies. These are not in a catalog, but they are part of the online exclusives. I think they came out in March, I think was the first set of online exclusives we had. And the die I'm going to be using for this one is this great big one right here. And then I'm also going to use the smallest one, if I can get a hold of it, right here. Okay, first off, I'd like to get some stamping done. So I've got a piece of basic white here. This is 4 3/4 by 2 inches. I'm going to grab my Memento ink pad and these 3 stamped images right here. These are the floral images and leaf images I'm using. So I need 2 of this flower. So there's 1 and 2. I need just 1 of this one. And then 1 of the leaf one. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do some coloring here. On the flowers, I'm going to use boho blue. Make sure those are the ones I've got, because these are really hard to tell. Yep, they're boho blue. So the flowers, I'm going to do boho blue. So I'm going to take the dark boho blue, and I'm just going to color in the bottom parts of the flowers. These color really quick and easy because they're so small. I'm going over it like 1 more layer just to get it soaked into the cardstock. And then I'll do it here with this one. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now I'm going to grab the light boho blue, and I'm going to color over the dark boho blue just to get those 2 shades to blend together to make it look a little more natural looking. And then the good thing with blends, if I blend it too much and I can barely see the dark, then I just need to add some more dark to it. You just keep adding layers until you've got it looking the way you want it to look. Now, it looks like I need to go where the 2 shades meet just a little bit more to get them to blend. I've left a little bit of white there, and that looks just fine. I'm going to leave it that way. So that is how I did that. And I'm going to take the dark Misty Moonlight, because the colors in the Countryside in DSP that I'm using only have blues. So I'm going to make my leaves blue too, but this is with the dark Misty Moonlight. And now I'll go ahead and color the other flower here. Okay, now I'm ready to do these berries. So I've got my Night of Navy, and it is kind of hard to tell doing different colors, so I'm just going to use the dark. No, actually, yeah, I'm going to do the dark because I want it to be a lot different from these other two. I tried to do a little dark and light in there, but those berries are so small you really can't tell. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do all the dark because I wanted these to be, like I said, a lot darker than the flowers. Okay, those are all done. So I'll go ahead and put this to the side. I'm going to grab my Misty Moonlight again because that's what I'm going to use on the leaves. So once again, I'm going to start with the dark. And I'm just going to put the dark down here at the bottom base of the leaves. Okay, now I'm going to grab the light Misty Moonlight. And once again, like I did with the flowers, I'm going to go over the dark a little bit and then color in the rest of the leaf until those two shades are blended. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, one little tip, you can use the blunt side if you want to. For me, that takes a little more coloring because I don't think the ink goes on. It goes on a little lighter than what the brush tip does. So that's why I always use the brush tip. It's just whichever your preference is. You can use either one. When you use the brush tip, though, use a light touch. There's no reason to scribble really hard because it could start fraying your tips really fast. And there's really no reason to either. The brush tips just saturate the cardstock a lot faster than the blunt. That's why I use it a lot. So those are all colored and ready to go. I have one more thing to stamp. Actually, two. Here is a piece of basic white that is 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. I'm going to grab the You Make Me Smile. I'm done with the black one for now, so let's go ahead and cover that up so it doesn't dry out on me. And I'm going to stamp this near the center. It doesn't have to be perfect. I do want it close to the center. I made it bigger than my die because this is going to be die cut. There we go. That'll make it so I can move the die around a little bit. So I've got that done. Now I do want to stamp the inside of the card. So here's a 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece. I'm going to bring in these flowers here. And I do need to clean these off because this was done with the Memento. I guess it doesn't matter too much because the navy is pretty dark too, but I don't want to get any of the black in that ink pad. So I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to start off. And I just want them partials here. It's not going to be the whole flower. You can make some a little shorter, some a little taller. Because this will make it look more like a field. You know how your flowers usually aren't the exact same height. And I think I can get one more down here. There we go. So that is the inside of the card. So that's all the stamping that needs to be done. So let's get our die cutting machine out. Okay, I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out. This is the full-sized one. I've got my base plate here, platform actually. There's the die plate. And then I want a standard cutting plate right here. Let's go ahead and do some of the stamped images now. So I've got this and this. This one takes that rectangle I got out. So I'll put this one here. I'm going to get that centered in that rectangle in the opening. That's pretty good. Put some of my Post-it tape on there. You can also use Post-it notes, just the adhesive part if you want to. There's only one of these, so I'll have to run this through one more time to get that last flower. Make sure your flowers are right in that opening. Check that little V right there, and then look in that little spot. There should be a little bit of a dark look to it. You don't want to see white through it. But if you really can't tell, because I'm at an angle, so hopefully I've got it right, I'm really looking at this V to make sure it's filled in down here in the flowers. And that lets me know it's all set up. Then we've got this one. All of these have little holes down here so you can see if you've got the stem lined up right. And angle that a little bit more. And once again, I'm looking at the V. Look at all the flowers around there and the V to make sure it's filled up. This one I might be able to just use one. There we go. And then we've got the leaf one. The tape is in the way, but it's going to be able to die cut through that tape on that other one, so I'm not going to worry about it. So once again, making sure that image is completely wrapped around. And this one's a little wider, so I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape on this one. Now, with this being a rectangle, I think it's easier to have it go in at a corner first. It just helps your die not get warped, and also seems to cut a little better too. So now I'm going to put another standard cutting plate on top. Run this through. I'm going to show you the rectangle first because it's not just dots. Hopefully I'll be able to show this. Sometimes the video is hard to tell. But there are little X's here in the center parts too. So it's a really neat one. It's not just the regular dots around it. I like the little X's on there too. So that one's ready. Put that in here. Then it's okay. I did get that a little close to the bottom, but the bottom of this stem is going to be covered up, so I'm not worried about it being straight. So there we go. We've got that one. And then this one right there. That one didn't line up very well, but I think it's still going to be fine because all of this is going to be covered up. That was the worst part. That's the one thing about lining things up at an angle, because I can't get right over it or my head would cover up everything and you wouldn't see anything I'm doing. That wouldn't be good. So there's that flower there. That one lined up good. So I need to run this one through again. So I'll put this on there, making sure that whole image is in there again. And while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and grab this piece. This is a piece of that Countryside NDSP. It's 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. And I'm going to use that smallest frame die that was in that Radiating Stitches Dies. I'm going to move this one over a little bit. I want to make sure it's still in my sandwich. If it's off at all, it's not going to have the pressure it needs to die cut. I'll angle this a little bit just so a corner can go in first. Put that on there. And if you like this paper, it's on low inventory right now. I want to make sure you knew that. They'll be getting more in, so don't worry if it sells out before you get a chance. But it is on low inventory, so if you're wanting that soon, you'll want to get it ordered as soon as you can. Okay, oops, get back here. So now I've got that last flower. Die cut. Oops. And then here, it's a little hard to see. Not too, well, no, I can see it pretty good. Hopefully you can too. There's little lines in it for the radiating stitches all the way around that. You're going to really see it when I do it on the white piece of cardstock. And that's going to be done with the largest piece of basic white that's in my kit. This one is a 5.5 by 4 1/4. So this one is a little bigger. I want to show you the difference. This one is 5 1/4 by 4. So the smaller one of the two big ones is the inside of your card. The bigger one is the one that we want to use this big die with. So I definitely want to angle that. Being a big one, it really helps if you put the corner in first. Run this through. So instead of just having a regular rectangle for the base of my card, base layer, this makes it so you can have a base layer that has a neat stitching thing around it. So that's that. So I'll put that to the side. We've got a couple other things to die cut. I'm going to grab a piece of Misty Moonlight. This is 3 by 4 3/4. Let's see, I need this die. And I need this one. There, that looks pretty good. So put that there. Now, with my Night of Navy, it's 3 by 3. I went ahead and die cut one of these because it's this die right here. There was another one that was similar to this, and the flowers were just too far away and I couldn't make them work. So I did 2 of this one. So I went ahead and did that ahead of time so you didn't have to watch me do all of that. But this one that's got the berry type things on it, that one is going to go here. And then this is a piece of that beautiful Luster Specialty paper. It's in all of the new in colors, the 2023 to 2025 in colors. This one's the boho blue. I don't know if you can see it, but oh, it just shines really neat. So this one is a 4 3/4 by 1 inch piece. As you can see, I've already die cut one out because I needed 2 of those and there's only 1 die. So I didn't want you to have to wait for me to do that. But all of these little single dies are what I'm going to put on here. So I've got 1 each of all of them. Let's see if I can get hold of the other one. Got a lot of dies over here. It's hard to get them. I think I'm going to put this one down like so. Kind of move these down. These do just fit. Let's put them at an angle. I think they'll fit better. Oh yeah, much better. And then I've got this long one that I'll put right next to this one. And I think those are all. Yes, those are. So you saw all of those flowers that went around that frame, that DSP when I showed you the original card. I'm just having to pass this through once, well, twice actually, since I did a couple of them ahead of time. And that's all I have to do. So it's not as intimidating as it looks. I have to admit, when I first saw this bundle, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to get that. It's gorgeous, but I'm not sure if I want to do all that die cutting. And then when I got to looking at the dies, I thought, wait a minute. That is genius. So all of these, take these little pieces out. But that's all attached. Then I will just put some glue. Well, actually, I'll put glue on the back of the designer series paper, and that'll just attach to the back of it, and those will be all that's showing. So I love these dies. So we've got that one. And this one. So I'm going to get a hold of this one. Be real careful because you don't want them to get ripped off that rectangle. There we go. So we've got that one. And I've also got another one of those with the Knight of Navy. Here, all the little ones, looks like they stayed in the die, but they come out super easy. Just take your pick tool, poke some of those holes. And there's the ones in the boho blue of the Luster Specialty paper. I've got this one. Oops. Don't need that flying everywhere. And I've got this one. Sorry about the ink on my fingers. There's a lot of blue used on this one. But it'll come off after I wash them a couple times. Oop, that's just taking out some holes here. There we go. Well, I thought it was going to go. See, there are a lot of little holes. Oh, I already have it out. No one. I'm here looking for it. There, that was the die I already used. Sorry about that. I was wondering why it wasn't coming out. It's because there was nothing in there. There's the one I was looking for. I was just poking out some paper that I didn't need. And then we've got this one. And last but not least, I've got this Knight of Navy one here. Okay, now that is all the die cutting we need to do. So let's go ahead and get this card, finish this card. Okay, I'm going to start assembling all of the pieces that go around here, okay? So that's the side I like. So I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to put adhesive all the way around this. And the little lines that are die cut in here, you can't feel the adhesive or see it. It doesn't quite go completely through. So you don't have to worry about adhesive seeping through and making your card stick to your envelope. You're going to be just fine. So I'm putting it all the way around. It's okay if you want to make it a little thicker too. But this is going to make it a lot easier when I go to put these pieces on. Let me see which way I like it better. It really doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and go with that. Okay, I'm going to grab this one here. This one's kind of got a corner one because it's right here. So I thought this would be good in a corner. So I'm going to line this up, make sure that strip is completely under there, okay? So I've got that ready to go. So this is what it looks like from this side, okay? Now I'm going to do another big one. This is one I die cut ahead of time. This is that Knight of Navy one. I'm going to put this one on this corner, like so. That's what it looks like over here. Because I think it's a lot easier to put the big ones on first. So now I've got this one, and this one's going to go down in this bottom corner. So I put that right here. There we go. Last but not least, we've got this one here. Oop, I got one little piece I didn't see. There we go. And this one's going to be in this corner. To make sure I get that. Oop, I see another piece I need to pop out. Right there. There we go. Okay, now this just needs some filling in, okay? So now I'm going to grab one of these. So I'm going to fill it in with all that luster piece, all those luster pieces. So let's try this. That looks good. Now I'm going to lay one right here. And I see this opening here. I think we need a little something here. So I'm going to put this one, I'm going to bring it up a little higher. There we go. Now this one looks like it's coming off a little bit. Oh, I know what's happening. It's been a while since I've made this card, so I forgot this part. We need to put adhesive along these strips because we just covered that up. I totally forgot that part. So go ahead and just go over those, making sure you stay on those strips. Don't go above it. Now this is going to attach. I was wondering what was going on there. And before I lay it down, I'm kind of moving it around, seeing which way I like it. I think I like it right there. So now I'll push it down. There, now I can tell it's attached. Lay this one down. I want to put it there. That looks pretty good. So push that down. The nice thing with the silicone mat, I don't have to worry. All this adhesive comes right back off again. That's why I've got this down here. Helps a lot. Okay, now I've got these last two pieces. Actually, three. Let me find my other one, because I needed one more of those. So this one I'm going to put, let's see, I think I'm going to put it right about here. Okay, and I've got these two little ones. I think we need a little something in this one. And there's a little spot here. So I'm going to kind of angle it so it fills it in a little more. There, that looks good. Isn't that pretty? Now it's going to look even nicer on the card base. So I'm going to keep this right here for right now. Oh, wait a minute. I need to do oh, tell you what. Let's do this. Let's grab the card base. So this is a piece of boho blue, 5.5 by 8.5. I'm going to line those corners up like so. Then I want to grab this big piece here that we die cut a minute ago, and a piece of boho blue textured ribbon. This is a 7-inch piece. Since I've got this out, I might as well use it. I'm going to put some adhesive on each end of this ribbon piece. You can't put it on the back of the card base, out of the cardstock. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Or you can put it on the ribbon. Since this is thicker ribbon, I'm putting it on the ribbon instead. So I'm going to get that close to the center and wrap it around. Then I want to make sure it's straight and laying flat, and that looks good. The cardstock laying flat, that is. So you want to have it snug, but not too snug that it's making this fold up, okay? Now that the ribbon's on there, we can put this on our card base. Oops. Get this rolled up again. I didn't do my little cut very good. There we go. And I'm going to go over the ribbon a little bit to make sure it sticks to the card base real well. This will go in the center. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this in. It's still got quite a bit of adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and put one right here across the middle too. See which way you like it best. And I think I like it this way better. I'm going to lay it here. It looks like some of them might be a little bit too tall. But I think we're going to be okay. I'm not going to fret about it. It's still going to fit in the envelope. There, that looks pretty good. So put this down. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. We'll be good. So I've got that here. So when you put these on, you might want to put them down just a little bit lower. I lined it right along the edge. Maybe put the bigger ones down just a tad. Those are the ones that are sticking out the most. The other little ones I added are just fine. So we've got that there. I need to grab this, and this is going to have the same concept. I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive all the way around here. There, missed that section. And now I'm going to start putting the stamped images that I colored in a little bit ago. I'm going to add this right here. Let's see, probably about like that. Push that down. Then I'm going to grab the leaf one. So I just want to have a little bit of an added thing for the corners for this one. I'm going to do the flowers again on the opposite corner. Oops. You know what? We're going to put a little bit of adhesive on the flower part because it is overlapping. That's why it came off. Put this down, get it angled again. That looks pretty good. And this one is going to look like this one, but at the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to add the berries, which I didn't die cut very well, but it's still going to look just fine. And those are going to go right here. Now I decided I wanted this one popped up with dimensionals. So I'm going to turn it over, grab my white dimensionals. Oops. And I'm going to put them so they're over the dies a little bit, so that way that's going to reinforce those and have them stay on. I've got one there, and I'm going to go ahead and put one in the middle. If I can get a hold of them, they're not coming off very well. There we go. Now, grab my Take Your Pick tool and get the paper backings off. And this will just go right here in the center of this piece, of the DSP that is. Okay, that looks pretty good. There, so that mixes a bunch of patterns and a bunch of layers. I really like that. Okay, now I'm going to grab some embellishments. Okay, these are called adhesive backed sparkle gems. Aren't they gorgeous? It's white and black, and I think this is champagne. I think it's the color they say. But I'm going to be using the white ones because I thought those looked the best. The black and the champagne were just a little too dark for this. So I'm going to grab a big white one. And I'm going to put it here in the corner of my greeting right here. Then I'm going to grab, I'm actually going to do 2 of each. So I'm going to grab another big one. I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put a little one right next to it at an angle. And I'll grab another little one and put it right here. So even though I used an even number, since these are grouped together, that's kind of like 1. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and it still made that little triangle I always make when I do my embellishments. So we've got the front all done. I really like it. The sparkle on those just really set it off. And the little luster paper I used. Now I want to grab the inside that we stamped earlier. Put this on the inside and we'll be all done with the card, and then I'll show you how to make the tag. So, or tag, the treat holder actually made with it like a tag. There we go. So there is the card. So I hope you enjoyed that. So let's get ready to make the little candy holder. Okay, now we're going to go ahead. I want you to get your paper trimmer out or your Simply Scored scoring tool, whichever one. And I'm going to take a piece of boho blue. This is 7 inches by 2 inches, okay? Now we need to score this a couple places. Since I'm using my trimmer, I'm going to make sure I get that dark blade out of the way because that's the cutting blade. I just want the light colored one. So I'm going to do it at 3 inches. So here I'm going to have a 7-inch side along the top. Do it at 3 inches. Go over it a couple times. If you're using the Simply Scored scoring tool, you only need to do it once. And then 4 inches, and that is it. So 3 inches and 4 inches is all you need to do. And then you can go ahead and fold that, burnish them just so they're ready to go when you go to put this together. So go ahead and get this out of the way. And now I'm going to use the Elegant Edge Tag Topper. So each end, I'm going to put in here, this can go to 2 inches. I'm going to put this in as far as it can go and punch it. And it's best to keep this flat on your work surface. Don't hold it because it's a little harder to push. If you just do it when it's on your table, much, much easier. So isn't that cool? So I'm going to put this in all the way. And there we go. So that is all ready to go. And it's all lined up perfectly since it's 2 inches on both sides. So we'll get all these little pieces out of here. Okay, now we're going to start putting some pieces together. It's easier to decorate when it's still flat. So I went ahead and die cut everything because you saw me do it all with the card. And let me show you the dies. This is the one I used for the DSP. So this was done out of a 2 1/4 by 1 1/2 inch piece. So just die cut that out. And then this one with the thank you, I stamped the thank you on a piece of basic white that was 2 3/4 by 3. And the reason it was bigger, I did the thank you on one end, and then I also stamped this floral piece and this leaf piece and colored them in just like I did with the card. So you can just look at the card directions to see how I did that. So those are the pieces that I need to put together. I also die cut 1 each of the little pieces, little dies in the set that I did at the beginning. So these 2 were done in Misty Moonlight with a 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inch piece. And these 2 here were done out of a 2 by 1 1/2 inch piece. Okay. So I thought I'd do all that ahead of time. Since you already saw me do all that with the card, that's the same concept. Oh, get that back up there. I just about lost it. So now we've got this here. I'm going to grab this. And, oh, you know what? Let's put this on first. I'm going to grab this one. turn it over and put some adhesive on it. I decided not to put anything behind this one because it was just going to be too much with that tag. So that's why we're using the little dies instead of the big ones out of the Timeless Arrangements. And I didn't put it all the way to where the stitching part is because I don't want any adhesive to be over the edge because this is a little bit bigger than the tag. And I'm going to put it in the center like so from here to here where the cutting is. That looks pretty good. So now I'll push it down all the way now that I like where it's at. Okay. Now I'm going to bring the thank you in. Now this is a smaller piece, as you can see. I'm still going to do the same kind of concept. I'm covering the whole thing, though, with adhesive. And I want to start with the stamped image first. I'm going to grab the flowers. And it's going to go in the top right corner. I'm going to angle them. Now, if any of it is showing on the bottom like it is here, I'm just going to clip it, just cut it right off, okay? So I'm going to put this one on there. And then I want to grab the leaves. And it's going to be right here, kind of angled down. And I am definitely okay with it hanging over the edges of the tag because that's not going to go in an envelope. And it actually looks kind of neat when it's coming off the edge a little bit. And I'm actually going to do it more like this because I want a few leaves over here too. Okay. Now before I add anything else, I'm going to take my scissors here, my paper snips, and cut those little stems off. If I can get a hold of them, there we go. My hands are getting sticky holding on to the adhesive back there. So there, now you can't even tell that happened. Now we'll grab all these little pieces. I'm going to grab, since I already have leaves down here, I'm going to grab the leaves here. And I'll put this as a Night of Navy one. So I'm going to put it right here. So then, since that's Night of Navy, I'm going to grab the boho blue one. And it's going to go right next to this one, right there on the edge. Okay. Then we will grab these. And I liked these flowers over here on the side. And you know what? Since it's going to be going on this, let's put some more adhesive on here. I want to make sure I stay within that rectangle, though. I don't want any up here on the top. Now, these are still on good because there was a bunch of adhesive. But this is a pretty big piece, so I want to make sure that this attaches good. So we'll angle it again because I kind of want it hanging over the edge. And then we'll take this little guy. This is the last of the Misty Moonlight. And I think I'm going to angle it kind of like this. There we go. So that's what that looks like. But I want to put on with dimensionals. I thought it looked cool popped up. So we'll grab the dimensionals again. And I want to make sure, once again, that I cover up some of the die cuts so I know they're attached really good. But this one is just not wanting to come off. It's a little humid in here today. There we go. I was bound and determined to use that one. Cover that up. And then I've got one more right here. And I'll put that in the center. Okay. And I don't have to worry if there's anything on near the edge because it's going to fit within the tag. Grab my Take Your Pick tool. Okay. And this is just going to go right and make sure the rectangle is centered on that DSP. It's just a little bit shorter than DSP, so you're not going to see much on the sides, but the top and bottom is what you really want to make sure is centered. There we go. So there's my thank you. I want to put some bling on there. So I'm going to do the white ones again. This time I'm going to do a small one on the thank you rather than the big one because it is a smaller piece. I'm just going to put it up here in the corner. And then down here, I'm going to grab a big one and put it about right here. And a little one, I kind of like that grouping on the card, so we're going to do that like here, right here. So that looks good. I think that's plenty. And then if you have candy, if you wanted to, you could put adhesive right here and just that way to stick on a little better. You could also do one of those nugget candy bars here too. It doesn't have to be the Ghirardelli. But I want to close this up. So I'm grabbing a piece of silver trim. This is from the Gold and Silver Trim Combo Pack. This is also an online exclusive, so you're not going to find it in the catalog, but you will find it if you go to the online store and just look under the online exclusives. So I'm pinching these together, and I'm going to have this go right through the center hole right here. Okay. I'm going to tie a single knot. And before I start to do my bow, it does work better if you have them go perpendicular like this. Then I start with the bottom here, make my little loop, then come around, trying not to twist it. There we go. It was starting to twist. And tie my bow. There we go. And I'm going to play around with it till it looks good to me. Tighten it up. That looks good. Now I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to cut them at an angle. This one I don't have to cut off as much. I'm just kind of making the ends be about the same. Yeah, that looks good. So that is the little tag holder. So that comes together pretty easy. And you can make this with any stamp set. Really, really easy to do. So let me grab the card again. So I hope you enjoyed my projects for the One Stamp at a Time blog hop. Now make sure you don't miss any of the other ladies that have made projects. We've got some really talented ladies in this blog hop. So make sure you click on that blog post link below in the video description, and then you scroll through, find out all the information you want to for my projects. Then scroll down near the bottom of the post and you'll see the list of all the names. Just click on one of the names and that'll take you to the next blog in the hop. And I hope you enjoy all the cards. We had a lot of fun making them. And I'm really glad you watched my video. And thank you so much for that. Thank you for your business and your support for my channel. Now, if you want to stamp with me again, just look down below and you'll see a little subscribe button. Click on that, subscribe to my channel, and then when the bell icon pops up, make sure you select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video and you won't miss anything. Now, if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours, and I would love to send out our annual catalog to you. Just click that contact me link below in the video description and send me your mailing address, and I'll get one mailed out to you right away. So here are the projects again. So once again, I hope you enjoyed the projects. I really had fun making these. I made these at a crop I was at. Crop is when you get together with a lot of friends and everybody just makes their own crafts and you get to talk. There was so much talking. It was a great weekend. So it's been about a month since I've made these, so I'm glad I remembered how to do them. So I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope to see you in the next video. And please comment if you have any questions or if you just want to interact with me. I love interacting with you guys. I promise I will come back and check all the comments and reply back to you. And if you like it, please like my video too. So have a great day, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.